And then that's all I have to do. It's scanning for viruses right now.
Antivirus programs are the only way to clear a computer of the Michelangelo virus, which threatens to wipe out everything on Friday, March 6th. The experts are advising people to buy one of these programs. Michelangelo is one of thousands of viruses.
Be vigilant because, again, these things are here, they're widespread, and we've seen the extent of it in this particular incident.
Of course, the cheapest way to avoid the Michelangelo virus is to just turn off your machine tomorrow and leave it off all day on Friday, or set the clock on your computer a day ahead. But unless you use one of those antivirus programs, you're going to have to do the same thing next March 6th and every March 6th after that to avoid the virus. In Beaverton, Teresa Luce, the 10 o'clock news.
Antivirus software costs about $100. Supplies could be short tomorrow, so if you can get any, you're advised to try turning off the computer for a day and getting a program later to get rid of the virus. If you have a modem, those several antivirus billboards are available by phone. Most local computer stores can supply information about that.
Well, Tektronix says it expects to lay off 500 more people because of losses of $3 to $6 million this quarter. The Beaverton-based high-tech company expects at least a 43% drop in earnings compared to last year's third quarter. Tektronix once was Oregon's largest private company with 24,000 employees worldwide. The company now is down to 11,528 people, including about 7,500 in the Portland area. Company spokesman says about half of the 500 jobs to be cut will be here in the Portland area. Cuts will come through layoffs and attrition over the next 6 months.
Even more bad news. Over the next 2 years, as many as 6,000 AT&T operators will lose their jobs to computer technology. Al Hinman has more on that.
Gone is the day when you can count on hearing a human voice when you dial O for operator.
Hello, please say collect, calling card, third number, person, or operator.
Yes, I'd like to make a collect call, please.
AT&T says it has perfected a sophisticated computer program capable of understanding and responding to the human voice. The voice recognition system developed by AT&T's Bell Labs is designed to master what computers do not do easily, deal with the complexities of the spoken word. The key to AT&T's voice recognition system is its ability to spot and process keywords in conversation. The long-distance telephone company says the new technology will replace as many as 1/3 of its 18,000 operators over the next 2 years. The operators' union set off an immediate alarm, claiming the company was trying to influence upcoming contract talks.
I mean, it doesn't take a wizard to come up with the answer that it was done to put the fear into the employees.
AT&T refutes that, saying it's kept the union involved throughout the testing process. AT&T says it will offer alternate jobs to as many of the displaced operators and managers as possible. The total jobs lost to computers could depend on how well customers respond. AT&T is promising a live voice at the other end of the phone if you're having problems with their new voice recognition system, or if you simply want personal communication when you ask for person-to-person, please. Getting human help while connected to the computer comes with the word operator, not help.
I personally would rather speak to a person and not a machine.
The first voice recognition systems go online in June in Jacksonville, Florida, and Seattle.
This is AT&T.
By the beginning of 1994, AT&T callers across the U.S. will find a computer answering many of their calls and talking back.
Thank you for placing.
Al Hinman, CNN, Atlanta.
We're going now to Mike O'Brien, who has the very latest on the status of the Seattle Mariners. Are they coming or going?
Well, we're the very latest is about what we knew yesterday. Wait a while.
Terrific.
Yeah, we're all on hold. Baseball owners now have delayed making a decision on the sale of the Seattle Mariners to the group led by Japanese investors, and owners are now developing a counter-proposal. Baseball would like to see the Japanese stake be less than 50%, but Hiroshi Yamachi of Nintendo Japan has said he wants controlling interest or nothing. Meantime, team owner Jeff Smulyan watches and waits.
We're following the procedures, the guidelines set down by Major League Baseball, and I think it's moving according to the way it should move. I don't think we're any less out of control than you ever are the first day you get in the game.
Should the deal fall through, St. Petersburg, Florida wants the Mariners to move there. The San Francisco Giants, meantime, are looking to move to San Jose, but now the question is, does San Jose really want them? Voters must approve a big tax hike to build a new stadium for the team, and now there are many telling the city to stay out of the baseball business.
According to the city, there is no money for the homeless. There is no money for city streets. There is no money for low-income housing. How the hell do we get this money to build a ballpark?
I think what you have to look at it is that the taxpayers are investing in a public-private partnership that will then reap benefits to them through jobs and through the increase in the tax base that will help fund the programs that the opposition cares about for years to come.
The San Jose vote is set for June. The latest polls show a 46% in favor, 42% opposed, and many of the big businesses have yet to take a stand. So, could have two teams on the move.
Well, it'll be interesting when they decide about the Mariners, huh?
Good point.
We'll see you in 20 minutes.
I'll be back.
See you later. Thanks.
As we continue, one Democratic presidential wannabe, that is reportedly very close to calling it quits, but the rest of the pack, well, they were hard at work on the campaign trail today. We'll bring you up to date on all that just a few minutes from now.
It all comes down to money. And then the underboss continues to chip away at the Teflon Don. A report on the John Gotti trial just ahead.
To diagnose genetic birth defects now faces up to 280 years in prison. Today, a Virginia jury convicted Dr. Cecil Jacobson on 52 counts of fraud and perjury. Jacobson was accused of using his own sperm to artificially inseminate as many as 75 patients. Prosecutors charged he tricked some women into believing they were pregnant.
It's an absolute shock that I'd be found guilty of something I did not do. As I understand the charges, it involved willful intent, involved a scheme, and involved money. And as you who sat through the trial realize that I have no scheme. I certainly didn't willfully or intentionally harm anyone. And irregardless what they seem to think, I certainly made no money on the practice of medicine, certainly not out of the infertility portion.
I think that he was a good man and he did a lot of good, but I think that it was overwhelming evidence that he went wrong somewhere and he mistreated a lot of women.
Jacobson is set to be sentenced in May. Health officials, meanwhile, estimate that 58,000 Americans will die this year from colorectal cancer. However, a new study shows a routine exam of the lower intestine with a special scope could cut the risk of developing fatal colorectal cancer by at least 60%. Now, this study is based on people who have the exam at least once every 10 years at a much lower risk rate.
Well, the health care debate heated up on Capitol Hill today. Health Secretary Louis Sullivan defended President Bush's proposals against Senate Democrats who touted their own plan. Jeff Levine reports that pro-life opponents are vowing a tough fight.
We who claim to be pro-life argue that once conception has occurred, the human equation has unalterably changed. A new tiny member of the human family has been created. Not potential human life, but human life with potential.
Basically, I think what women are asking for is the right to be treated as adults, the right to be dealt with as adults, the right to hear their different options. And I must say, as a woman, I get very frustrated when people seem to think that if women just hear the A word, they will run right out and have an abortion.
The Supreme Court could use a Pennsylvania case to overturn Roe v. Wade. It will hear arguments in that case in April.
In another courtroom in New York City, the prosecution continued its case today in the John Gotti murder trial. A man who claims he was Gotti's assistant in the mob described the mafia payoff system today. Meanwhile, several jurors have resigned from this case. Charles Feldman reports.
Inside this federal courthouse, there used to be 12 regular and 6 alternate anonymous jurors hearing the John Gotti murder racketeering trial in Brooklyn. This week, in an unusual development, 2 of the jurors were excused for undisclosed reasons. Court orders aimed at preventing jury tampering prohibit lawyers from saying why the jurors were released and prevent news organizations from even showing sketches of what they looked like. Although there is always speculation at any trial involving alleged mafia members, especially John Gotti, that jurors may be afraid, numerous sources tell CNN that that is not the case here, and the judge says no improprieties are involved. Meantime, prosecutors finished up their questioning of star witness Salvador Sammy the Bull Gravano, the mob turncoat who says he was Gotti's right-hand man. Gravano testified that his construction company alone contributed $100,000 a month in kickbacks to Gotti, helping to explain how a self-proclaimed plumbing salesman from Queens can afford $2,000 and $3,000 suits and one-of-a-kind neckties. He also said other companies paid Gotti large kickbacks. On Tuesday, Gravano told how he and Gotti helped plan the rub-out of Godfather Paul Castellano. Gravano also calmly talked about how he murdered a close friend. And Wednesday, Gravano disclosed that he also killed the cousin of his brother-in-law in a mob dispute. Not everyone, however, has bad things to say about John Gotti. Jay Black, the lead singer of the 60s singing group Jay and the Americans, came to court to give his support.
I describe him as a gentleman and just a great guy that doesn't deserve it.
After 3 days of direct examination by the prosecutor, which was carefully prepared, Salvador Gravano is about to feel the heat of John Gotti's attorney. Albert Krieger is considered one of the best cross-examiners in the United States. And beginning Thursday, he is expected to start his pounding of Sammy the Bull. Charles Feldman, CNN, New York.
News from around the world when we come back.
The candidates were busy putting the best spin on yesterday's primary results. All that just ahead.
Nebraska Senator Bob Kerrey won South Dakota's presidential primary last week, but he canceled all campaign stops today to hold meetings with his advisors in Washington. Campaign sources tell CNN that Kerrey is getting ready to withdraw. He finished fourth or worse in every Democratic contest yesterday. Most of the rest of the pack was back on the campaign trail today, though. Bill Clinton was in Florida, one of next week's Super Tuesday primary states. The Arkansas governor says he opposes the Bush administration plan to deport Haitian refugees. Paul Tsongas admits Clinton has an edge in the South, where most of the Super Tuesday contest will be held. He spent the day in South Carolina, which has its primary this Saturday. Nevada's Democratic caucuses are this Sunday, and Jerry Brown, who took Colorado last night, was in Las Vegas today, telling striking workers that his Democratic opponents have poor records on labor. Well, Tom Harkin didn't campaign today, but his aides say he isn't giving up the fight. Labor groups backing him reaffirmed their support today.
The Republican candidates, President Bush and Patrick Buchanan, were busy in the South today. President Bush traveled to Tampa, and he expressed confidence at winning re-election. He has won every GOP primary so far, and his aides predict, well, he'll just win the rest of them, too. Today, though, Patrick Buchanan said the president should think about giving up. He told reporters in Louisiana that winning 30% of the vote in the primary so far is a victory, and he warned that the president risks becoming a Republican version of Jimmy Carter. The White House press secretary says Buchanan's suggestion that the president surrender now is Looney Tunes.
It may get worse before it gets better. Well, the fourth round of Middle East peace talks has ended in Washington, and now the question seems to be, what next? Arab and Israeli negotiators made little progress today. In fact, they couldn't even agree on a time and place for the next meeting. Now, this prompted a Syrian official to suggest postponing the talks until after the Israeli national elections in June.
Some stories now from around the world. The death toll continues to rise in the Republic of Nagorno-Karabakh. Armenia and Azerbaijan have been fighting over that tiny province for 4 years. Officials in Azerbaijan say 7 more people were killed today and at least 1,000 civilians were killed last week when Armenian soldiers invaded a village. In Yugoslavia, federal troops are patrolling the capital of Bosnia-Herzegovina, trying to keep Serbians and Muslims there apart. The Serbs oppose independence from Yugoslavia. They have set up armed encampments. Fighting today left at least 8 people dead. When we return, Jim Donovan rejoins us.
He'll fill us in on the forecast for tomorrow, of course, and that all-important 5-day outlook.
Until proven guilty, then you understand the dilemma. On the other hand, if you believe that if there's enough smoke, there has to be a fire, there's no dilemma at all. After that, the political decision to plug in your strongest candidate is easy. In the interest of due process, Washington Democrats should go carefully with their demands for Adams' resignation, or their motives may be misunderstood. I'm Rick Myers.
If you would like to respond to this editorial, write feedback, KATU, Post Office Box 2, Portland, Oregon, 97207.